So last session we discussed about this comparison to file system and database. Okay, last session answer. Yeah, and in my today's class, we'll come up with the introduction to RDBMS, from where your actual subject begins. And after that, if we'll even start today, introduction to Oracle as well. We'll discuss that part also in my today's class. Okay, so let's first discuss about introduction to RDBMS. Yesterday's session was only a few basic things to explain you a comparison between file system and database. Yeah. Introduction to RDBMS, Relational Database Management Systems. Okay. Now, one, RDBMS equal to R plus DBMS. Okay. That is the expansion of RDBMS. And R technically it stands for referential. What is referential? It is one of the integrity constraints. And before I go further, means in order to understand referential, with this point, you need to understand that you require to have knowledge of constraints. You require to have knowledge of what? Constraints. And this is just to give you an idea. Remember, coming classes may we are going to learn detail about the topic called constraints. Very detailed we are going to study about constraints. Okay. And one more thing I would highlight. Constraints is actually classified into three types. One is called domain integrity constraint. This is one category. I'm not explaining you, just giving you an idea. Domain integrity. Second is called entity integrity. And third one is called referential integrity constraint. Three types you'll have. From that, from that, from those three, this comes under referential. So coming classes, we have a very detailed discussion on a topic called constraints. Okay, at that time we'll see them. Under referential, this is what you call as relationships. Referential is related to what? Relationships. And in this relationship, you have one-to-one relationship, and you have one-to-many relationship, and you have many-to-many relationship. One-to-one is direct implementation. This also you have direct implementation. And many-to-many, we don't have a support. No database software supports what? Many-to-many relationship. We have only two practically supported. That is one-to-one and one-to-many. Okay. Now going forward on the second part, what you learn is, and let me make you clear before I start second point. First point, nothing we discussed about constraint, right? Because at this stage, we don't understand the topic. We'll definitely, in my coming classes, we'll learn in detail of the topic called constraint. Today we started RDBMS, and this carries out throughout the course, different topics. Definitely I'll get back to you on that part as well. And second thing I would say, RDBMS was introduced in the year 1970 by Dr. chord and has outlined 12 rules called chords rules. Chords rules. And then we study that among these 12 rules, any database software satisfies 8 or 8.5 rules, then it can be considered. It can be considered as pure RDBMS. Yeah. Now, again, one more point. As a database developer or as an Oracle developer, you should have knowledge on this CODS rules. 12 rules Dr. E.F. Cod has outlined. So compulsory, you should have knowledge of what? CODS rules. So, and one more thing also, I would say, the limit which he has set is 8 or 8.5 rules to consider any database software as pure RDBMS. Now, if you start talking about our subject, that is Oracle, Oracle satisfies Oracle satisfies 11.5 CODS rules. 11.5. Only one half rule is there. Oracle doesn't satisfy. Remaining rules very accurately, you can justify those rules, everything. So we'll discuss about them in my coming classes. But to understand those rules, you should have even knowledge of programming in Oracle. That is PL/SQL we call. That also you should know. Then only we can. That's the reason I'll take up that at the end of the course, not in the middle of the course, at the end of the course. By the time we learn CODS rules, you are already aware of total Oracle. Then it will be easy for you to understand those rules, right? That is one second point. So now again, second point, we didn't talk anything about CODS rule. First point, we didn't talk anything about constraints. Okay, those all are coming classes part. And third point, I will say, RDBMS always presents data in two-dimensional format. That is matrix format. Okay, matrix format. Two-dimensional format. And what is the two-dimensional format called? Matrix format. That is in the form of rows and columns. Further refers to table. Further refers to table, rows and columns. And remember, three things are there in this. Three things. What? Column is the column. You got different terminologies used for column. Like in some database softwares, it's called identifier. In some database, they call attribute. In some database softwares, they call data name. In some database softwares, they call fields. So database to database, these terminologies changes. Okay. Similarly, this row is there, no? Row is called by again different names. Row is called by different names. Like one, row is called record. Some database softwares. In some database software, they call that row as tuple. And this table is called as, some database software they call as entity. Some database software they call as object, and some database software they call as relation. Yeah, this is one more thing towards presentation of data. Okay. And one more thing also, let me explain you one more thing. This also in my coming classes only will understand that. That is about something called normalization and denormalization. That is about representation of data. RDBMS always represents data in normalized way. Normalized way, that is indirectly leads to normalization. And you study A table can be normalized in different ways, often called normal forms. Normal forms, right? And how many forms? We got all of them. 1NF, that is first normal form. 2NF, second normal form. 3NF, third normal form. And then BCNF you call, that is read as Boyce chord normal form. 4NF, that is called fourth normal form. And then 5NF, that is called fifth normal form. Yes. Total six normal forms. Total six normal forms. Yeah. So among all these normal forms, this is what my experience I'm saying. In real time, maximum usage of normal forms could be only at three levels: 1NF, 2NF, 3NF. That remaining are quite very advanced levels. We don't come across project of my experience to use remaining normal forms. The only three normal forms which are mostly used in projects connecting with what database usage. Yeah, this is what the introduction of RDBMS is. Yeah, anything that you want to ask me on this, go ahead. If not, start the introduction of Oracle. Any questions that you have on this, what the points what I have listed towards RDBMS. And I myself said very clearly, lot of things in this introduction we haven't discussed. Reason, because they are connected to our coming classes talk. Okay, so there we will study in detail. Chords rules also one separate class will have. And this matrix format, two-dimensional format, that too we have lot of things to study on that part. And normalization also we'll discuss somewhere in the middle of Oracle. And about integrity constraints also we'll discuss in the middle of Oracle, right? So you have still anything that you want to ask me from these 4 points? Go ahead. Yes. Fahad, any questions from your end? Fahad, can you hear me? Yeah. Khushbu, what about you? Yes, Fahad.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yes.
so we are only using 3NF
Yes.
in day-to-day
Mhm. Mhm.
life, right?
Yeah.
And for remaining, we are not using it.
No, no, we don't come across
So
them.
why to
Mm.
study? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. They gave the rules. Doesn't mean like in every database we need
Mm-hmm.
to apply. But first three confirm somewhere or the other we come across to use them in every project and every database. Even if you're doing a basic database project, also those three rules will come across. Advanced
Mm-hmm.
database project, also you come across to use those three. You understand?
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Chalo, right. But I didn't say that I won't explain. I said I'll cover all, but we come across to use in real time only three. That is what my point was. Yeah. Pavitra, any questions? Shubham, what about you?
Fine, sir.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Right. So let's start with next part. We'll see introduction to Oracle. Yes. Now, in this introduction part, I would say Oracle is a product of Oracle Corporation. Okay, Oracle Corporation, introduced in the year 1977 as Oracle 1.0 version. Yeah, this is one point. And now you can very clearly understand here product from Oracle Corporation. And I said that, right? I said it was introduced in which year? You said 1977. But when they introduced Oracle in 1977, people didn't find that good usage of this Oracle, which they introduced in 1977. Then immediately, what Oracle Corporation has done, they started rectifying the issues. They started rectifying the problems of Oracle 1.0. Immediately they started rectifying. They want to build that environment perfectly than what they introduced in 1977. So immediately what they have done is in 1979, Oracle 2.0 was released and it became